Most people don't feel behind because they are lazy. They feel behind because they are constantly measuring themselves against something that was never real to begin with. Even when life is full, when there's work, family, responsibility, and purpose, that feeling of never being enough still lingers. And it usually starts quietly. You sit down, you pick up your phone, and without meaning to, you start comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel. Someone's house looks perfectly put together. Someone's children seem calm, cheerful, and connected. Someone looks productive, successful, composed. And almost instantly, your mind fills in the gaps. Why don't I look like that? Why does my life feel so chaotic? Why does it seem like everyone else has figured out something that I haven't? What's unsettling is that this comparison doesn't stay on the screen. Even offline, it follows us. You might not spend much time on social media at all, and still it shows up. You're at school pickup, you notice another child quietly holding their parent's hand. They look calm, grounded, easy. Meanwhile, your own child is restless, needy, pulling at your attention. And before you even realize it, the comparison begins again. Why is my child like this? Why does that family seem so put together? What we never see, of course, is the full picture. We don't see what happens behind closed doors. We don't see the difficult moments, the meltdowns, the exhaustion, the doubt. We only ever see a single frame, and our minds turn it into a story. That's the environment we're living in right now. Social media isn't a record of real life. It's a highlight reel. People share achievements, milestones, and moments of control. Very few share confusion, stagnation, or quiet despair. Not because those moments don't exist, but because vulnerability often attracts advice, judgment, or someone trying to sell a solution. So instead, what we consume all day are curated successes, and layered on top of that are advertisements, carefully designed to trigger our inner insecurities. Be slimmer, be more successful, be more organized, be a better parent, be calmer, be more disciplined, be more healthy. Endless reminders of who we are not yet. And over time, this does not motivate us. It erodes us. It keeps us focused on an imagined version of ourselves, one shaped by unrealistic standards and constant comparison. And when you're always measuring yourself against an illusion, you will never feel ahead, even when you've already achieved things your younger self once desperately wanted. Even when you've grown, even when you've survived things that once felt impossible. Maybe the reason most people never feel ahead isn't because they aren't progressing. Maybe it's because they are comparing themselves to a version of life that was never meant to be lived. This isn't advice. It is just an observation. But if it resonates, I hope it helps you feel less alone.